good people in the YouTube world and beyond. It's your boy, the Outlier B, and I'm right back about you guys with another video. How you doing today, man? How you guys feeling? I hope everything is good with you. We got a action-packed episode lined up for you. We're gonna speak about. I'm gonna speak about how I'm feeling today. Talk about a little bit of my condition because it's definitely flaring back up again. So we're gonna get into that. And I'm gonna tell you guys about some of the properties that I think are the main properties of the universe. And it's gonna be a little deep today, man. A little deep today. So how y'all doing, man? How are y'all feeling? How was your guys' night, man? I hope everything was cool, man. Hope everything was cool. I hope that you guys got done everything that you needed to get done. We got somebody on the check-in early, early, early. They said, happy Tuesday. Hello, everyone. What up, my brother? Happy Tuesday. Thanks for checking in. Where you coming in from, my brother or sister? What city are you from? What state are you from? Or what country are you from, man? Let me know. What time is it where you are? What time is it where you are? I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, my people. Cali is in the check-in. Shout out to everybody from Cali, man. I've been getting a lot of people checking in straight from California, straight from California. And every episode, I tell you guys I want to go to Cali. I am soon, man. I am. I just got to tell myself I'm going to do it and just do it. I love the West Coast. Vegas is one of my favorite cities. I tell you, Vegas. Also, New Orleans. That's one of my favorite cities. Philly, definitely one of my favorite cities. Also, like Boston, man. Boston is definitely one of my favorite cities out there, y'all. I urge everybody to get that traveling in, y'all. Get that traveling. Do something. Do something different, yo. You know, life could be the same every single day. And I put a lot of traveling north, but recently I've been to a lot of cities close to New York, a lot of cities. And they're all pretty good, man. They all pretty fun. They all pretty fun. We got somebody else on the check-in. They said, hi, the bros, 654 was going on. We got Death Edit, 4258 said, hey, what's going on, Death Edit? How you feeling? We got somebody else on the stinks, what is it? Upside Down Street said cornball knowledge. Somebody asked me, what country are you from? I'm from the United States. This is New York, Freeport, New York to be exact. Freeport is a suburb of New York City, my people. It's a suburb of New York City. Right now, I'm in Nassau County, straight in Nassau County, man. You know, Nassau County, New York. We're about 20 to 30 minutes away from Queens and about 45 minutes to an hour away from Manhattan on the Long Island Railroad. That's where we are. That's where we are. But my last night was straight. Y'all know how I do. I try to go to bed early, but for some reason, last night I couldn't sleep, man. So I stayed up to like 11:30. I woke back up like around 2:30. So y'all already know the vibes and you already know what it is. But recently, I've been dealing with my pancreatitis flare-ups, man. Pancreatitis flare-ups. And pancreatitis happens when your pancreas becomes inflamed. About in 2005, it happened to me, man. It happened. I could definitely remember. We got somebody else on the check-in. Said, bring your bike. Bring my bike upside down. What up, brother? How you doing today, man? I see you got a lot of funny comments today, man. You said, bring my bike. You said, this is cornball knowledge. Where you coming from, my brother? Where are you from? What city? What state are you from? And what you doing up so early today, man? What you doing up so early? You got anything to look forward to today? Got anything to look forward to for the weekend? What's going on? Somebody said, can you shout out? Nah, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't shouting out this morning, man. Disturbing the peace. Y'all see this is a very peaceful area over here. You can hear the birds chirping. If I yell out over here, it ain't gonna be too long before the cops come. Uh, this is a nice neighborhood. It's Stearns Park, Freeport, New York, and neighbors definitely be looking. Neighbors definitely be looking. They are quick to call the cops on you. A couple times the cops mess with me over here. They always let me go because I do have a Freeport address, so they don't really mess with me. But I have been messed with a couple times by the cops over here. But it's not a bad thing. Definitely not a bad thing. It's okay to know that your neighborhood is being looked after by your neighbors. Also, uh, this area right here is like kind of different than the rest of Freeport. Freeport is mixed, man. I'm telling y'all, Freeport is mixed. And this right here is the cool side. You walk down the street a little bit, you may be approached by different types of people. So Freeport is definitely mixed. But this area over here, they try to keep it separate. And the cops, no often they roam these blocks over here. Again, you get a lot of neighbors who come and look after other people's spots. So this is like a cool little neighborhood, man. Definitely like a cool little neighborhood. So somebody said, I come upstate, up the street, says he come from Indonesia. I love America. All right, Indonesia, what up? What up with the people out there? It's another place I never been. But I got friends that go over there for vacation, and they tell me about some of the women that they mess with over there. They tell me about some of the cheap prices that they come across over there. I even have a couple of friends who work their whole life out here in New York. They get their pension, and then they just go to Indonesia. Some of them go to the Dominican Republic, and they retire, and they live a pretty good life. Because that's one thing about New York. We are very, very, very expensive, y'all. New York is one of the most expensive states. And we got my brother who was checking in from Cali. California is another state that's very, very, very expensive. So I say, if you could make it on your own out here in New York or California, then most likely you could make it damn near anywhere, man. You could make it damn near anywhere. Somebody else came in. For me, it's not early. In my city, it's 11:40 a.m. All right, 11:40 a.m. That's what's up. Where you at? Where you coming from? 11:40 a.m. So your day already started. What you got planned for the day? What you got planned for the day? God first said hi. Somebody said, remember, you're lagging. I'm lagging. All right. Somebody said love from Chicago. Shout out to the people in Chicago. It's the funniest thing. I got about maybe 2 or 3 people who checked in from Chicago, and 2 of the 3 people that checked in from Chicago was locked up, yo. I couldn't believe it. But shout out to the people in Chicago. I've been to Chicago once, but it really wasn't like a Chicago visit like that. I went to a wedding out there for somebody who I was talking to. I went out there, and one of her friends was getting married, so we went to that wedding, and it was cool. I definitely didn't go to the south side of Chicago. I went to a real, real, real nice area in Chicago. It was a beautiful hotel, and like you could see water. It was like it was like I don't know what it was, but you could see like a little like water over there, and it was cool. Real high rise motel hotel. And it was real nice, man, real nice. And I had a real, real, real good time in Chicago. Again, it was a real short time, probably like 2 days. But I want to go back to Chicago. Somebody said 3:43 in the morning. All right, so you an hour behind us. An hour behind us. For New York, it is 4:43. We got somebody else on the check-in. It's at this guy again. Jinx Giant. Gentle Giant. This guy, yo, I was listening to my live stream for Gentle Giant or Ginger Giant. That's what this dude is. I definitely remember him. He was checking in a couple days ago. You're a funny dude, yo. You're a funny dude. This the statistician. This the statistician. He was being funny. He said, well, he say 70%. No, he said 30% of all wizards cast 70% of the spells. Y'all are hilarious, yo. Y'all hilarious. Somebody said they like and subscribe. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Somebody said tap in. No doubt. Thank you for the subscribe, man. Definitely appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. So yeah, we got this Ginger Giant dude. He hilarious, man. He hilarious, yo. He was using those stats. I'm a statistician to a certain extent. That's what I do. I'm an analyst at my job, and I use numbers too. So when they come up here and using these numbers to try to start a narrative, it's hilarious to me, man. And I get it. I get it. They talk about what 30% of the population account for 70% of the crime. Those are interesting stats, man. Those are definitely interesting stats, you know. So if y'all guys watch my podcast and everything, y'all know I speak around stuff like this. I'm not gonna attack it directly, you know. I always talk about systems, y'all. Y'all know I speak about systems, man. And I say systems produce outcomes. And in my work, what I do is transportation. So again, I could look at an individual driver and just for what I do, man. I could look at an individual driver, and one of the things that we look at is on-time performance, meaning the percentage of trips that make it on time. So I could look at a different broker, right? And I could see that maybe they on-time performance as a whole, let's say one broker, they on-time performance as a whole could be very, very, very low. And that means that a whole bunch of individual drivers are arriving to the appointments late. Now, it's a couple ways to look at that. You could say, oh, maybe this broker just got terrible drivers. But as I look down at the numbers, what I start to see is that most brokers got the same type of drivers, man. They all got the same type of drivers. But when dispatch is giving the drivers pickups late, when they're giving them 3 or 4 pickups at the same time, that's when you start seeing the on-time performance drop. So I extend that thinking to populations, populations. So when you look at certain neighborhoods and you see that they're producing terrible, terrible, terrible outcomes for people, and how it's harder. I'm not gonna say hard because people gonna succeed in any system. So I look at that and I'm like, yo, what type of pressures are pushing these outcomes? What type of pressures are pushing these outcomes? Then you start seeing stuff like poor education. You start looking at things like kids having kids. You start looking at some historical things where, you know, you look at the success of plenty of people, and you see a lot of their success depends on their parents a lot of times and what they're being exposed to at an early age. And if you come from a line of just, underachievers and kids having kids, the chances of the next generation coming out is going to be very, 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 very hard. Then you start looking at things like it's just I'm not gonna blame everything on the system. I'm just gonna say, man, you know, some people need more help than others, man. Some people need more help than others. So we're gonna go on to the check-in, and this ginger giant dude is back. He said 81% of Belgium-born children from 2018 to 2025 have parents who are immigrants. All right, what does that mean, brother? Where you getting at with that? Europe is gone, my guys. I'll be joining y'all soon. Europe is gone, my guys. I'll be joining y'all soon. When you coming to America? You coming to America? Somebody said, your legs are very strong. NGL. Yeah, nah, I walk a lot. I walk a lot. So I'm getting it. We got somebody else on the check-in. They said, have you seen Ray Ray out there? Somebody said, have you seen Ray Ray out there? Somebody said, love. Have I seen Ray Ray where? Did I see Ray Ray where? Out here? What y'all trying to say about my cousin Ray Ray, man? Y'all better stop talking about my cousin Ray Ray. Ray Ray is trying his best. Ray, Tyrone, Leroy, all my cousins. They trying their best, man. Leave them alone. Leave them alone, man. Leave them alone. They ain't out here hurting nobody. We got somebody said, "What's your channel about?" Kathy Yap, my channel. I do different stuff, man. I do different stuff on my channel. On my morning lives, I come up here. I speak about the different topics of the day, things that's on my mind. I wanted to come up here and speak about pancreatitis, but you know, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. I'm letting the chat distract me. But that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I like for to be interactive with my chat members. I like all the comments, even Ginger Giant. I think that, this type of stuff should be spoken about. I think he may be trying to troll and be funny, but it is what it is. I don't let that type of stuff bother me. I do think that some of these topics do need to come out and need to be discussed, but I think they need to be discussed with nuance. I think they need to be discussed with compassion because we got to look at certain things like, your skin complexion don't make you innately a better person or innately addicted to crime and stuff like that. I definitely don't believe that. I was going to speak about evolution. That was one of the things that I wanted to speak about today, too. Evolution and religion and those types of things. So I'm an advocate of evolution. I accept evolution. And if we're looking at evolution, evolution tells us that there's really no difference between the different races, that those are biological, that those are constructs of society. Like they really not real. You know what I mean? They're really not real. So I feel that we all the same. Only thing that's different is our history uh, from different places and also the conditions in which we live. So that's how I look at stuff, man. That's how I look at stuff. We got somebody else on the check-in, ask me where I'm from. I'm from Long Island, baby. Long Island. I'm in Freeport. Freeport, Long Island. Somebody said, let me see. Somebody said, remind me of GTA 6. I like games that satirize everything. And even though the government doesn't like it. Okay, Upside Down. He said the same thing. Somebody said, Raymond, JJ, little brother. Ray Raymond, JJ's little brother. Y'all funny. Somebody said you sound like an actor. All right, I heard that before. People tell me I sound like a couple people. I heard Denzel. They tell me I sound like Denzel. People like that. Everybody always come back and say that. Somebody said, somebody said, are we sure this guy ain't in the gang? In the gang? Nah, I'm not in the gang, kid. I'm not in the gang, not in the gang. That's, I mean, when I was younger, definitely wasn't no gang. But growing up in Hempstead, at the time that I was growing up in the early 90s, people was getting jumped a lot out there. It was definitely wasn't fun. So usually it's not like, a lot of people don't understand certain things. So a lot of times, you tend to ride with people, especially in certain neighborhoods. So like Hempstead was a neighborhood that I grew up in. And again, we went by neighborhoods. So you ran with the people who you went to school with, and then you go to a high school where it's more people from the same place, but they grew up the same way. So they tend to run with each other. And sometimes you get into issues with people from different parts of the town. And it's just, you representing the people that you grew up with. And sometimes you come up with a name. Some people could call it a gang. Some people call it that. But really, it's just a group of friends who hang out with each other and protect each other. Now, I think the gang aspect come if y'all doing illegal things. Like, you got a neighborhood and you guys coming together and y'all selling drugs in your neighborhoods. Y'all representing your neighborhood against other people from different parts. And I start thinking that it becomes organized, and that's when it like really starts a gang. And I never really was into criminal stuff like that. But, I played basketball. So the people who we played basketball all together, we represent our park. A lot of us came from the same neighborhood. So in my aspect of it, we'll play basketball. Stuff like that. And we'll go play basketball and we're like, yo, we the Heights, we Westbury Boulevard Park, and we just call ourselves a name. But it wasn't nothing negative that we were doing, you know? There were some people in the streets doing some crazy stuff over there. Somebody said, Preston Garvey is like you. Who's Preston Garvey? I never heard of Preston Garvey. Never heard of Preston Garvey. We got somebody else said that looks like my hometown. Where are you from? Charlie Plays. Where are you from, my brother? Somebody said, is there another settlement that needs my help? Average child, DeNova. What else we got? Somebody said, are there like any gangs around your area? And what are they? Are there any gangs in my area? Yeah, there are a few gangs in my area. We got a lot of Hispanic gangs out here and Freeport. Freeport definitely has a bunch of, back in the day, we had a bunch of Latin kings. It's not too many Latin kings out here. We do got MS over here. We got the Bloods out here, not too many Crips. But again, it's not really a huge area with gang violence. But it's stuff that definitely goes down over here. But again, I'm out of that. I'm out of that age group, man. I'm 46 years old. I don't hang out on the streets no more. I don't do none of that type of stuff. So that lifestyle really don't affect me like that. Somebody asked me, do I play basketball? I used to play basketball back in the day. Used to play basketball back in the day, but I don't anymore. Tomorrow we're gonna come on and talk a little bit about the Knicks going against the Spurs. I think that's gonna be a great series. You already know I'm in New York, so I'm rooting for New York. Somebody said, "Do I play now?" Nah, I don't play now, man. No sports now, man. No sports. I actually grew up playing baseball, y'all. I tell y'all that every episode. I grew up playing baseball. I did play basketball, but I really grew up playing baseball. I thought I was gonna go pro in baseball, my people. I really felt as if I was gonna go pro. But I went to Hofstra University over here. I tried out for the team and I got cut, y'all. I definitely got cut. Yep. But I'm up out of here, man. Thank you guys for listening. Right here uh at this fine establishment, the 7-Eleven, about to go make me my tea. And I'm up out of here, man. Thank you guys for checking in. I will catch you.